Chapter 19. In the morning, Xian was woken up by the alarm clock. They had a report in the morning and he needed to prepare the slides an hour in advance. Even if he had to stay up late, he still had to get up. Jingtan and Xian went out together. Xian ran to the East Garden cafeteria and bought 2 steamed buns. She thought about it and then bought 2 cups of soy milk. She took them to the small woods in the courtyard, where Jingtan was squatting on the stone table waiting. Xian put a bag of steamed buns and a cup of soy milk on the stone table. He didn't know if cats could drink soy milk, but when he called Mr. Jiao said that his cat had a strong stomach unlike other cats. Xian thought that he would choke if he only ate steamed buns, so he bought an extra cup of soy milk. It wasn't until he inserted a straw into the disposable cup of soy milk that Xian suddenly realized that cats probably didn't know how to use straws. While Xian was worrying, Jingtan had already eaten a steamed bun. He pushed Xian's hand away, bit the straw and sucked. Xian was stunned. If it weren't for the fact that he was in a hurry to attend the report, he would have squatted here to study how Mr. Jiao's cat used a straw. How could it use a straw with its 2 leaky mouths? Jingtan was not in the mood to care about what Xian was thinking. He was very hungry now. He had to finish eating quickly and then go for a run. If he didn't eat, he wouldn't have the strength to run at all. There were 8 steamed buns in the bag. When Jingtan ate the 6th one, Huang and the sheriff ran over and gave the remaining 2 to them. As for Depang, even if it came, it would be the same as Jingtan. It basically didn't eat other people's leftovers. As usual, when Huang came over, it would bark twice to show that it was here and ask the others to come over quickly. After that, it would start scratching the tree. Jingtan threw the plastic bag containing the steamed buns and the cup of soy milk into the dustbin next to him. He walked around the stone table twice to help with digestion. When Depang slowly walked over, Huang had already started scratching the 3rd tree. Jingtan felt that it was about time. He called out and walked out of the forest. Huang stopped grinding his claws and eagerly followed. He ran 2 steps and nibbled on the grass beside him. Originally, Jingtan thought that if he did not run into Celestine, he would run on his own. Wasn't it just a run? Besides, there were still 3 cats here. Later he would call them and run together. Before Jingtan left the East Garden, he saw Celestine doing pull-ups at the public exercise equipment next to the lawn. Seeing Celestine, Huang had the biggest reaction this time. This guy arched his back and jumped up like a flea. His hair stood on end and his ears were stretched into the shape of an airplane. In comparison, Depang was much calmer than last time. He was just a little vigilant but not as hostile as last time. Celestine let go of his hands and landed on the ground. He looked at the 4 cats. His focus was still on Depang and Jingtan. Without saying anything, he turned around and walked out of the lawn. Let's start running. Jogging. Doesn't Tsinghua University have a running track around the school? Let's run 1 lap first. Jingtan. A whole lap. Tsinghua University was very large. Since Jingtan came here, he basically only stayed in the East Garden. Other than that, he went to pick up Jiao Yuan and Gu Yuzi, the Institute of Biological Sciences and Old Man Land's small garden. In fact, there were many places in the university that Jingtan had not been to. It was good to run around the school. He had to familiarize himself with this place. Jingtan ran about 20 meters and looked back. Fatty was squatting on the ground, yawning with his eyes closed. Huang ran into the grass again and curled up into a ball to pretend to be sh*t. The sheriff looked at the sparrow on the branch and licked its lips. Damn, none of them are reliable. I'll just run by myself in the future. Celestine did not wait for Jingtan. He kept running at a constant speed. Jingtan followed closely behind him. In the morning, the students rode bicycles or walked from the cafeteria, dormitory, square and other places to the school building. There were some opera and vocal music students training in the peach forest. At this time of the year, the osmanthus flowers in the school had bloomed for a while. The fragrance of the flowers was not as strong as before. They were probably going to wither soon. When he passed by the square, Jingtan saw Grandma Zhai. Grandma Zhai and her old friends were waving the bright red woolen fan in their hands and doing a fan dance. Looking at the time, it should be over. They usually finished half an hour before class started so that they would not disturb the students in class. Grandma Zhai was waving her fan. When she turned around, she saw Jingtan, who was running with his mouth open and panting. She almost threw her fan away. Grandma Zhai had been doing a fan dance in the square for a long time, but she had never seen Jing Tan at this time of the year. She also did not expect Jing Tan to run so far. After all, this place was close to the school building. Generally speaking, it was rare to see a cat here at this time of the year. Jing Tan was not in the mood to pay attention to Grandma Zhai's expression. Although he was jogging, he was already exhausted. He had never run like this before. It was no wonder that he felt uncomfortable. The first part of the journey was still okay. Jing Tan still had the mood to pay attention to the surrounding scenery. However, in the second half of the run he gradually became tired. Celestine slowed down, but Jing Tan did not stop. He kept running like this. He had said that he wanted to exercise to become stronger and to go further. He had to stick to it. This was also for his own life. After running one lap, Jing Tan went to the grass to take a rest. He knew that there was an open-air water tap on the lawn. He could drink some water first. Celestine did not stay idle. After finishing his pull-ups, he ran one lap with Jing Tan. As if nothing had happened, he went to the public sports equipment and continued to do pull-ups. Jing Tan stood next to the water tap to take a rest. After drinking some water, he turned his head and found that Celestine had started to run again. He even sped up. Jing Tan took a few deep breaths and tried to catch up with him. However, his speed was too slow. It did not take long for him to lose track of Celestine. Jing Tan did not plan to continue running. He turned a corner at the fork and ran towards Old Man Lan's small flower garden. As usual, Jing Tan chose to jump over the wall. There was still some distance from the entrance of the small flower garden. He was too lazy to take a detour. His legs were a bit weak from running. He almost could not jump over. Although it was a small flower garden, it was not small. There were several transparent greenhouses full of plants. There was not much open space in the garden. After jumping over the wall, Jing Tan was not in a hurry to jump down. Instead, he walked along the wall. When he came to a greenhouse, he jumped directly onto the greenhouse, making a dong sound. Old Man Lan, who was working inside with a small shovel, looked up and scolded, "Can't you jump from somewhere else? If you jump a few more times, I'll have to retire early." Jing Tan ignored him and walked to one side of the greenhouse. There were a few wooden boxes piled up, forming a staircase. Jing Tan jumped down one by one. Jing Tan turned his head to look inside the greenhouse. Because it was transparent, he could see quite clearly. Lilies. And they were yellow. Jing Tan had never seen yellow lilies before. He had seen white lilies before. The flowers inside were quite similar to the lilies he bought to flirt with girls. Why did Old Man Lan plant so many yellow lilies? White lilies should sell better, right? Jing Tan walked in doubtfully. At the entrance of the greenhouse was a wooden box containing some brown things. Jing Tan did not pay much attention to it. His attention was now on the yellow flowers inside. Old Man Lan, who was working with a small shovel, turned around and looked. He said, "Be careful. Don't spoil these daylilies." Daylilies? Weren't they lilies? Jing Tan pulled his ear. He was an idiot when it came to this. Even if he went up to take a closer look, he would not be able to tell. He could not even remember what the lilies looked like. He only felt that they were similar to the ones in his memory. Jing Tan was thinking about it when people came to the small flower garden. It was a few students. They had come to take samples. Just like everyone else, these students were very reserved in front of Old Man Lan. "Professor Lan, we made an appointment to do research on the antioxidant properties of flavonoids. Come over and take samples." Old Man Lan didn't stand up either. He raised his hand and pointed to a corner of the shed. "Over there, the place where I've marked. You can all pick it, but don't touch anything other than the mark." Okay. We'll remember. We'll pay attention." A student quickly nodded. The few of them carefully came to the corner that Old Man Lan pointed out. A student who seemed to have just entered the school whispered, "So this is daylily. Why does it look like a lily?" The other students' hands trembled. Before they could even catch their breath, they heard Old Man Lan's voice. "Angiosperms, monocotyledons, lilialaceae, liliaceae, and daylilies of the daylilies. Haven't your teachers taught you these? What's so strange about them looking alike?" Old Man Lan's voice was still very calm, but people could clearly feel that he was angry. The few students were silent. No one dared to speak carelessly. They were afraid that they would accidentally make a mistake and be scolded again. They sped up their hands and respectfully bid farewell to the old man after collecting the samples. Jing Tan squatted at the side. He was still thinking about the words of the student just now. So the legendary daylilies were actually daylilies? The former sounded more high-end and Western. In comparison, the name, daylilies, sounded like a country bumpkin. Jing Tan had never associated these two names together. After the students left, Old Man Lon stood up and massaged his waist. He walked out of the shed and picked up the wooden box at the door. Fresh daylilies have higher fat and vitamin C content than dried daylilies, but the protein and other trace elements are lower than dried daylilies. I still prefer to eat dried daylilies. In my hometown there are a lot of these things, but in this city it's difficult. Black charcoal, let me tell you. Blah blah blah. These retired old professors still couldn't change their bad habit of teaching others. Even if they were talking to a cat that didn't know anything, they could still talk for a long time. As soon as he heard, let me tell you, Jing Tan knew that Old Man Lon was like Jiao Pa. He had entered teaching mode again. Jing Tan played in Old Man Lan's small garden for a while. He only left at noon. The sun was shining brightly. When Jing Tan returned to the main courtyard, he saw Huang lying on the grass. Half of it was in the shade and the other half was basking in the sun. What surprised Jing Tan was that there was a creature lying next to Huang. It was whimpering. Huang hugged it and licked its fur. The creature stopped whimpering. Damn it, when did this guy with an awkward face that Huang Erwo was carrying come to the east courtyard? How come I've never seen it before? Before Jing Tan could recover from his shock, another creature ran over. Jing Tan,